Oh, total veteran status.
Good stuff. Oh, yeah. That feels good.
Today's world, there's so many things you can just learn online that you don't really need to go to school.
Today now, the teachers' unions, they're the ones really controlling education, and they're really pushing a political agenda on kids, a sexual agenda onto kids. We wonder why kids have mental health issues. Our time in school just created this artificial environment. The education system was designed to create factory workers. It wasn't designed to build innovative people that are going to question authority. It was to get people to conform.
I don't have any core memories from school. I just don't.
Like, I start the film off with a quote from Aristotle: "The fate of empires rests on the education of youth." I was living in LA. I was around money and status, fame. A lot of these people aren't really happy. It doesn't seem fulfilling. I've learned doing more humanitarian work, we are way more powerful than we think. Like, when we actually just go show up, spreading a little bit of kindness, a little bit of joy, to me, that's what life's all about. You either got to create some level of suffering, or suffering's going to find you.
What's the biggest misconception or pushback that you've got on your film? All right.
Okay.
Now that the sun's down, first part's always sun to warm us back up now.
Oh, he's right in it. Oh, total veteran status.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah.
All right. Woo. Today on Cold Tub Talks, we've got Spencer Taylor. If you don't already know his story, it's an awesome one. Spencer, if you'll do the honors of introducing yourself and tell us why people should know about you if they don't already.
Damn, I'm gonna be honest. This was a good idea on paper. Now that I'm in it, it's debatable. All right.
He just skips my question.
Sorry, what was the question?
Tell us about you. If people don't already know about you, who are you and why should they know?
All right, I'm a soul, I guess. We can start there. In the physical realm, I'm a documentary filmmaker. So I'm here in Miami. I guess I went to school in Michigan, went to a public school in Michigan, went to Michigan State University, started working in the personal development space. I worked with a guy named Bob Proctor. He was on Bob. The Secret. Worked with him for a couple years in Toronto, and then I moved to LA and I met Jake Paul, Logan Paul, started working with those guys, worked with them for several years, and was on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast, did the first 100 episodes there, and then I decided to kind of split off, focus on my documentary, and I got into humanitarian work, so that's what brought me to Miami.
Let's go. From Bob to Paul to Logan.
Yes, sir.
I like it. Okay, to kick things off. So before you became a documentary filmmaker and storyteller focused on truth, responsibility, culture, who were you when you first realized that you saw the world differently than the people around you?
I would say in school, I remember, in 5th grade, going into 6th grade, my school got rid of recess. And we started going down the path, like the standardized traditional path of standardized testing, you guys probably know it. Mm-hmm. It's just the same, memorization. And I started to just question things. I started to question, like, why are we doing this? Why are we learning these things? And dude, I'm starting to shiver already.
I know, dude, you're straight chilling though. You're pulling it off.
I'm working it. But yeah, I started to realize that, there's something strange about the system, and I didn't really know what it was. So as the years went on, I just started getting into trouble in school. I almost got expelled my senior year. And I was really passionate about video, but the traditional school system didn't seem to care. Just kind of wanted to push me down the same conveyor belt as everybody else. So, I started questioning things, and that ultimately led me to make The Death of Recess, the documentary I'm working on now, that I just released in January. That's just exploring kind of why the system is the way it is, why it was built, who controls it. And, I went down this decade-long journey of kind of finding the corruption taking place within education. And
Decade-long, huh?
Yeah, it's been a pretty wild journey, man. And I'm excited to have the film out now. It's available on Angel Studios. And
The Death of Recess.
And it's starting to make waves and connecting with, parents and educators and anybody that's trying to innovate education.
Yeah. All right, my voice is starting to crack a little bit.
Dude, yeah, it's a little hard to talk. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
Oh yeah, that's the point, man. Stimulating the brain on all accords.
This is unique.
I mean, even building off of that, it's so true, because our son's in school and he'll come home and always ask, "Why do I have to go to school? What's the point?" And even me going to school in high school, you kind of just think, when am I ever going to use this stuff? What's the point of going to school? What am I really taking away if you don't want to become something very specific oriented, like a doctor or something along those lines where you have to continue your education. In today's world, there's so many things you can just learn online that you don't really need to go to school. What was like the huge purpose behind you deciding the world needs to know more about this?
Yeah, I agree, man. It's we all are born with our own innate genius, our own innate gifts given to us by God. And to go through a one-size-fits-all education system, it just destroys creativity and individuality. And I saw so many of my friends that they had a love for school, or a love for learning rather, and then that just kind of vanished because of the school system. So it really broke my heart. And I was like, you know what? I want to figure out why it is the way it is. You know, I want to figure out, you know, why are we doing the same thing over and over and over? So that sent me down this rabbit hole of trying to find out, like, why is education the way it is? And so, yeah, I got into discovering the forces that control education, you know, discovering kind of the industrial model of education, the factory model of education, and how that was created by the Rockefellers, and, you know, how today now the teachers unions, they're the ones really controlling education, and they're really pushing like a political agenda on kids and a sexual agenda onto kids. Like, you see that now within public schools. They're like teaching first graders about sex, and they can change their gender. They can identify as whatever they want.
Is that more recent than that?
Yeah, that's been happening, you know, probably within the last like decade or so, really more so. But it's just like shocking. And you see the mental health statistics within school right now. You have like the CDC reported 1 in 5 kids thought about killing themselves. You see record rates of depression and anxiety with young kids. So I saw that with my friends, and I just wanted to do something about it. So that's really what kind of sparked me going down this path.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild the way the education. Are you okay over there?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Suffering, but
it's crazy the way the education system has gone. Like you were saying, the things they teach kids nowadays, they have mental health sickness days they can take. It's like these kids are in first grade. How do they even know what that is?
Yeah.
But yet they can use them and take days off of school because they're having a bad mental health day. It's like, at that young, I don't think kids should even know what that is.
Sounds like boys are about to not become men.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's the thing, is like they're cutting away recess. You know, like recess went from 120 minutes a day in 1950 to just 25 minutes today.
What? Really?
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah,
and so we wonder why kids have mental health issues. We wonder why like our society is filled with people with anxiety and depression. And it's because, you know, from our time in school, like you took away playtime, you took away time outdoors, you locked kids in a building for 7 hours a day and put them under fluorescent lights and just created this artificial environment. So it's no surprise why it's happening, but that's what I'm trying to do, is like bring more awareness to the problem.
Do you feel that ties into today's world, why America is so obese?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like at a young age,
you look at what they're
taking
feeding
away
kids in school.
Yeah, like they're taking away activity and other things at such a young
Still got
age.
chicken patties?
Yeah, they're locking kids in the class. You know, you don't get to run around, you don't get to play. Again, you have 25 minutes of recess. You're feeding them seed oils, processed foods that have glyphosate, you know, all these things that are like affecting their hormones. And yeah, thankfully now, like with the Maha movement, hopefully, you know, some change can come from that.
Yeah, wow. I did not know the recess thing. That's unreal. I mean, hence the title of your film, but
Yeah.
I had no clue they decreased it that much. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm on a mission, like early stages, I want to bring back recess. So I'm gonna go to DC and work with some people to try to bring at least 60 minutes of recess to schools.
Kick
So
ass.
early stages on that.
That's what they need to bring back some
Dude, they need
movement.
some of these ice baths too, bro.
Oh man, this will wake the mind and
Can you
the body
imagine?
right up.
You're right?
Yeah.
The funny thing is, some kids are almost immune to it. Like, they don't even feel how cold it is. They just think it's fun.
Yeah, they're just
They think
kids.
it's cool. They hop in, they're like, whoa, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to do in Michigan, we used to do like polar plunging.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys ever do that?
Yep. Did one in New York. Before I ever cold plunged, that was something.
Yeah, we didn't have to sign waivers for that.
Yeah.
Your own risk.
No waivers.
Yeah,
no.
how long are we in right now?
Look at his
We're in
chest.
10?
Look at his chest fibers firing.
Yeah. You're
Dude,
good,
I'm like-
man. Your body's working overtime over there. I like
Cooking.
it.
I think I got another question in me though.
Oh yeah.
Or a couple.
Rip it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sweet. So what what is the next stage you're working on now that you're done with your documentary? What's the next stage? Are you making another film? What is the next chapter of your life going to look like?
Yeah, so my full-time job is I work with a disaster relief org here in Miami called Global Empowerment Mission. So I do a lot of work with them. We go, into war zones, conflict zones, and disaster zones. So we do a lot of work in Ukraine and Gaza. We're going to start doing some work in Sudan and all over the place. So I do a lot of work with them. That's like one of my big focus areas. And then I'm going to make a follow-up film as well.
Okay.
I'm shooting for like a series.
How long does that take?
Probably, I've learned a lot from this process. So hopefully just a couple years, not a decade.
Any hints of what it's going to be about?
Yeah, definitely going to continue on the education topic and really try to get into more of like solutions. Dude, this requires serious focus just to talk right now. This is amazing.
Yeah.
It's horrific at the same time.
becoming
Like
a
it's
biohacking
terrible,
vet.
but it's
Well,
In the
awesome.
moment.
If you need any fitness guys for your film, we're here.
All right, bet. Yeah, if I need some actors, I'm hitting you guys up.
Absolutely.
Because you're acting like you're not cold right now. Are you guys cold? Like,
We're well seasoned.
yeah, excellent.
You're about to be. All right.
Sweet. Let's transition and we can warm you
Let's
up a
do
little
it,
bit.
man.
Oh, bet.
like
Thank
that.
you guys. I didn't want to be the one to say it.
Quick shout out to the Pod Company, the sponsor for the Cold Tub Talks. I'm sitting here in the Ice Pod Pro. Coach Devin's in the Long Pod, and you can get your discounted cold tub in the description below. Check it out for yourself.
All right, we're rocking. We're going. All right, audio board and everything. All right, you the best. Cool. All right, we're back. Spencer, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling warmed up.
Yes. Same. I'm actually surprised I'm in short sleeves. I almost never put short sleeves on for this segment, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's my lucky night.
Well, you guys are from Chicago, right? So,
Yeah.
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 This is the cold. I'm serious. This is like one of the coldest days in Florida all year.
This?
Yeah.
I mean, it feels
Make
pretty
me feel
good.
like a weenie.
I'm gonna take-
Fine,
Let's
I'll
go.
take it off.
yeah, that's
Let's
good.
go.
All right. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is about as cold as it gets down here.
I like that shirt.
All right, here we go.
Yes.
Here we go.
All right, cool. Well, if this is the worst, we'll take it. We feel like men. All right, deep kickoff here. Documentary filmmaking and cultural critique can be isolating or controversial. Was there a moment you questioned whether the path you chose was worth pursuing?
100%. Yeah. I recently went undercover inside the NEA, which is the largest teachers union in the country, largest labor union in the country. It's the teachers union. And when I was making this film, for many years, I was like, I don't want to get involved with politics. I want to stay out of politics. I want to stay out of religion. I just want to focus on, education. And then I kind of came to realize education is all interconnected. Education, the word education actually comes from the Latin word educo, which means to draw out from or to develop from within.
Okay.
So education is a process of really, finding, like we were talking about in the tub, it's like finding those gifts that are within you when you're born and bringing those out. That's what education means. So when you look at traditional schooling, it's the exact opposite. It's like stuff information in the kid, right?
So it's like leaning into your uniqueness versus just making everyone the same.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's what I was focused on. But then, I started, as I was going on this journey, I was finding all these incredible schools. I went to Finland, I went to China, I went to dozens of schools all across the US. And I was finding all these schools like project-based learning, passion-based learning, challenge-based learning, all these different education modalities like Montessori schools, Waldorf schools, really seeing that, there are a lot of really incredible solutions. So if these work, right, if school systems like Finland, right, that are finding so much success, like Finland is the happiest country on earth for like 9 consecutive years.
Mm-hmm.
They spend the most amount of time outside. So they give their kids the most amount of recess out of any other country in the world. They only take one standardized test. They don't do grades up until 8th grade. Here in America, we give kids 112 standardized tests from K through 12. So just to compare the difference. But yet they're scoring at like the top of global rankings. They're what I would say the best education system in the world. So I just started to question like, okay, if all this stuff works, then why aren't we doing it? And so I kind of came to learn about the NEA, who, back in, I believe it was 1892, they created this thing called the Committee of 10 during the Industrial Revolution. And it was all about standardizing education. And it was about standardizing it so that you could create factory workers. And fast forward to today, the NEA helped create the Department of Education in 1980. And so they have a Loctite grip over education policy. They have a Loctite grip over electing school board officials, which determine the curriculum that's taught in schools. They determine the funding, and they make so many decisions, and they're very powerful. They have about a $500 million a year budget, and a huge portion of that money is just going to political lobbying. It's not even going towards benefiting the school. So
Yikes.
again, I went undercover. I mean, back to your original question, I didn't want to get controversial.
Yeah.
And I think oftentimes, like Joseph Campbell, it's like the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. I didn't want to get into it, but I realized that I had to.
Wow. And so that was your uniqueness. Like once you felt that pull, you're like, I have to do this.
Yeah. And it wasn't, these doors were opening up that all I can explain is it was God opening that door. It wasn't me opening the door. It was like, this door's open and it's leading me to this place. And I'm like, when I went undercover, I filmed like some pretty gnarly stuff of what these like educators are saying, about basically they're like subverting parents, and they're, pushing sexual curriculum on kids, and they're basically telling kids like, hey, you can come to us. You're safe with us. You don't have to tell your parents what's going on here. They were openly praising the Satanic Temple in some of this undercover footage. Like it's pretty wild stuff. And you can see the documentary to see like the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I was led to this. I'm like, dang, man, I'd rather just be playing like pickleball or something. But like,
Of course.
I guess this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your calling, man.
Yeah, we're the leaders, man. That's why we love what we do at InstaShed, because when we help people like yourself that have a great impact outside themselves, not just looking to live the cushy life and do the things that they want, but they want to impact so many people outside of themselves. That's amazing. That's how we truly make the world a better place, little by little, right? Mm-hmm. Fitness changed my life because I was a small, insecure boy, honestly. Like I didn't excel at sports. I was small and frail. I didn't want to say hi to anyone at my first ever cleaning job at the gym. And it wasn't until I took my health seriously, started to build my body, that I realized, hey, I'm becoming a confident man and I'm developing a passion for the first time in my life. And that was my calling from God or whatever higher power you believe in, that I was like, man, this is where I'm meant to be. And I just went full steam ahead.
Yeah, you found your calling, man.
Yeah, feels fantastic. Everyone deserves to find that calling. And I think what you're saying is, from even the young education system, you deserve to lean into that, not lean away from it.
Yeah. Did you feel like the school system helped you find your purpose or push you away from it personally?
See, I was always neutral until I woke up. And then I realized, looking back, I'm like, what did I gain from school? I did realize a whole lot of nothing. But it wasn't until I became an adult, a conscious, aware adult, where I realized, wow, I really didn't learn much of anything that I'm utilizing in my life now.
Mm-hmm. How about yourself, Devin?
I hated school. I was not a fan of school whatsoever. What I did enjoy was gym class, physical activity, movement. But other than that, I'm not a big reader, other than studying out of books. I mean, I always laugh because when I look back, I could get the homework done, but you could use your textbook, use other resources to look at things. But when it came to tests, as soon as I got a test in front of me, my mind just went blank. Like I was not a test taker whatsoever. Probably 3/4 of the test, if not more, that I took throughout all of my middle school and high school career, I failed. It was literally, I can't even explain it, but as soon as the sheet went in front of me, no matter how long I studied, there was nights where I would stay up 2 hours just trying to study to pass this test. It'd sit in front of me and my mind would just go blank. And I could not remember what I just studied whatsoever. And I always just felt like the biggest idiot. I'm like, how can I not remember what I spent all night studying? And it just never made any sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, in the film, I got to interview the head of the NIH for over 30 years.
What's NIH again?
The National Institute of Health. And I got to interview some really incredible neuroscience and scientists. Carol Dweck, probably one of the biggest known psychologists in the world at Stanford. Sir Ken Robinson, all these incredible people. So that was the first time when I set out to make this film and I started to ask these questions, I started to learn how the brain actually works. And how the brain actually works, how we learn and develop as kids, is through something called executive function, which is movement. It's moving your body. And it's actually the best way that the brain learns and develops. And what we've learned as well is that when you're taking breaks from something, that's when your neurons are actually they're forming. There's a substance called myelin that wraps around these new neuro pathways. And that is, think of it like two neural pathways converge, and then imagine like a piece of duct tape that's tying them together. And the more you travel down those neural pathways, the more they form. But that substance, that myelin substance, doesn't really form unless we're playing and taking breaks. So like if you guys have ever played an instrument, or maybe you're picking up a skill, or you're at the gym, right?
Yeah.
You guys know this. When you're at the gym, you're working out. You can't just work out all day. A big part of your fitness is rest and recovery, right? You have to have that for your muscles to heal and recover before you can then go to the gym again, right? So big part of your fitness is actually taking breaks. It's the same way with how we learn. It's the same exact way with the brain. You can't just sit for 6 hours cramming information in and retain it.
Quick heads up, Cold Tub Talks isn't just this podcast. We offer bespoke online coaching for busy men who want to improve their appearance, performance, and health. Just click the link in the description below and head to instashred.com to book your free call.
Are you a fan of Tony Robbins by chance?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's a huge fan of changing your state, the physiology. So all his events, they're very immersive, but you're moving your body every 40 minutes to 60 minutes. And because he truly believes sedentary learning, you're not retaining the information. So there's constantly this bodily experience that he's creating to help retain that information. And he keeps the room cold, and he does these external things to help you retain that information. I just kind of took that as the adult way to learn in a way that he's studied so well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you have like kinesthetic learning, so movement with learning, what you're describing. Elon Musk, he uses that at Ad Astra, which is the school he built for his kids. And kinesthetic learners retain 95% more information than traditional just sitting and receiving information. So, yeah, you look at the U.S. school system, and actually most school systems around the world. It's not just the U.S. I went to China. I mean, China is even more standardized, more rigid than we are, more, centralized, authoritarian. And so all around the world, kids are just like locked in, sitting, being drilled with information. And this isn't how we learn. This isn't actually how our brains develop. So did you guys did recess get taken away? Did you guys go to public schools?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember recess getting taken away, or did you guys have it all K through 12?
I don't even remember, honestly. I was just going through the motions in school. So I don't remember much.
Yeah, we stopped recess once middle school started.
Yeah.
Middle school through high school.
Oh, yeah.
There
I
was
didn't
no
have
recess at all.
in middle school or high school.
Yeah.
After 5th grade, they just stop it.
Is that
still
not
to the
normal?
day, yeah.
See, here I am, uneducated. Is that normal?
No. Well, I should say yes, it is normal. It has been normalized, but it's shocking that we've normalized that. So that's what I'm on a mission to do with the Death of Recess, is bring more awareness to the importance of recess. Like University of Colorado Boulder, they did a study and they showed that kids who spent 60 minutes a day outside playing, they scored 10% higher on standardized tests after just 1 year than the kids that went through the traditional system with no recess. 10%.
Damn.
And you look at our testing scores right now, we're at like historic lows. I mean, we're talking like 30, 40-year lows. Like kids, the amount of kids that are not proficient in reading and math, like I think it's like 70% of 8th graders aren't even proficient in basic math or reading.
Oh, dude.
And the leadership in this country thinks, oh, well, the solution to this is less recess time. Let's keep them in the classroom longer. So what I get into in the film is, no, that's the reason why we have all these problems. That's the reason why we have mental health problems.
So do you believe they actually believe that, or that's part of the agenda? Because they're not idiots. Come on, the people studying these topics, I mean, they're smart individuals, right? So is it just part of a plan, and they truly know that, hey, this isn't the answer, but that's exactly why we're doing it?
I don't know if it's as nefarious as that. It could be, but I think what I lean more towards is that it's just because that's the way it's been done for so long that nobody wants to question it.
Yeah.
Older generations are like, well, we went through the education system and we're fine, right? But they don't understand, well, look at our society. Look how sick we are. Look how, cancer rates are on the rise. Look at how all of, these issues we have with anxiety, with depression, especially with young kids. And so they're not understanding also that the economy has changed. We no longer live in the industrial age,
Yeah.
especially with AI. AI is replacing those jobs so fast. So if you don't have purpose, if you don't have meaning, if you don't have health, like what you guys are about, then what do you have,
That's where it just seems so simple. Like, call me a fool, but I feel like it's so simple because we all know that moving the body, like, we live in this vessel that needs to perspirate. It needs to pump blood, and we can't just learn sedentary.
No.
I mean, when we're in these buildings with manufactured lights and our heart rates are low, it's like, no shit, we're not operating at our best.
Exactly.
Not even close.
Yeah, like I said, Finland is a perfect example. I went there. They have 3 hours per day that they're letting kids play outside. And again, they are the happiest country on this planet.
Wasn't JFK a big fan of like pretty rigorous exercise in school too?
Yeah,
Like you
absolutely.
saw some of the old films of
Yeah, they used,
recess
like I
and
said, in
high
1950.
school athletics. It was
Yeah.
like, dude, those guys were not only fit, but they were doing some crazy stuff on the bars, like muscle ups and stuff. Dude.
Yeah, you didn't see obese people. Like if you look up photos from like the 50s,
Oh, no.
and you see those photos from the beaches, there's like no obese people.
Yeah,
like
not at
they're
all.
all
alone in high school.
up,
Like high
dude.
school only were like no fat people.
Yeah, they're cut up.
Everyone's
they were
shirts
shredded.
were off.
Yeah,
like
everyone's
today's
shirts were
world,
off, too. It's
everyone's
not even
shirts
like-
are on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were cooking, man.
Yeah.
And so I think, like I said, in 1950, the average recess time was about 120 minutes. So now it's 25 minutes.
Yeah,
So
it's very short.
I'm big on,
that's
no one's talking about
drastic.
this, man. Like if you look,
Dude, even me, I was unaware of that. Like that's the thing.
and if you think about it, we took it away and we normalized it. So you guys don't even realize, recess was taken away. You don't realize that that's not normal.
Right.
But you look into adulthood, it's the same thing. People are in an office 9 to 5. They're not going out taking breaks. They're not getting sunlight. They're in fluorescent lights. So we were programmed, right? It was like the psyop because the education system was designed to create factory workers, right? It wasn't designed to to build creative thinkers and innovative people that are going to question authority. It was to get people to conform to authority. So I mean, we can get into the history if you want, but I mean, it goes back to the Prussian model of education, and it's a whole rabbit hole. But essentially, John D. Rockefeller, he created the General Education Board, and he pumped $43 million at the time, which is hundreds of millions of dollars in today's money.
Right.
Into standardizing education, into eliminating homeschooling. So this is crazy. The very first compulsory education law in the United States happened in 1852 in Massachusetts. The final state to adopt compulsory education law was in 1918. It was Mississippi. So from 1852 to 1918, we had the majority, probably upwards of 99% of this country was homeschooled. So they grew up in the community. They had homeschooling, maybe a small grammar school, right? But it was only a couple hours a day. They were primarily playing outside. That's how everyone grew up in like colonial early America up until about 1850. So you fast forward to 1918, homeschooling is made illegal in all states, all U.S. states. And fast forward to 1970, there's less than 30,000 kids in the entire country that are homeschooled. So think about that. In the course of just over 100 years, we went from 99% of the country is homeschooled to none, to almost none.
Wow.
And then again, we lock kids in this classroom. You start drilling them with information. You remove play. And why are we surprised? Why are we surprised that this is what's happening, right?
Yeah, we got to become aware, man. That's like a non-negotiable. We can't let that happen.
100%. Yeah, especially when we have kids, right? It's like, when you have kids, you got to make more informed decisions. And, you don't want to just push your kids down the same path just because that's the path you went on. We don't live in the same world that our parents lived in. We got to, really think about this and like, be more aware, make smart decisions.
100%. What's the biggest misconception or pushback that you've got on your film so far?
Biggest pushback, I think a lot of people, because I'm calling out some of the things that are going on within school, like I've shared all this with you. And then when I go ask the people like the NEA, when I went to their conference and I'm curious, like, hey, what are you guys doing to solve this? Again, they're pushing LGBTQ curriculum. They're pushing something called SOGI, which is sexual orientation, gender identity. So they're pushing these inverted agendas, which I believe are inverted. I believe, the definition of satanic is inversion. So I believe it is satanic. And they're even in these, breakout sessions that I filmed praising the satanic temple, which is insane. So I captured that stuff. Like, I didn't have an agenda. I just filmed what they were saying. And so some people don't want to hear that. So I get pushback on that. People are like, oh, this is propaganda, or like, this is fake. I'm like, how is it fake? I'm like just exposing what they're saying, and the NEA they're powerful, man. They're powerful. Over the past decade, they've spent over $500 million opposing school of choice. So school of choice is like Florida right now is like the leading example of school of choice. Like, you guys are in like the state that has become the mecca of education in America, where this state is the number one, state for education now, because our leaders in government prioritize parental rights. They created the Parental Bill of Rights. They've allowed school of choice, and the teachers unions here can't stand that, but they're losing. And you go to other places in the country, you see the grip that the NEA has, and you see how much they're fighting against school of choice. So they've spent, like I said, they've spent about $500 million opposing it. And they're fighting to keep their power. They're fighting to use kids as political fodder for their agenda.
Wow.
Right? And so it's uncomfortable, but it's the truth.
So if you had to summarize your philosophy of storytelling and cultural impact into 3 rules, what would they be to really dumb it down and simplify it? Because there's a lot of behind the scenes. So like from a viewer perspective, if they're like, man, I could get behind this. I like what the Spencer guy's sharing. How do they get started? Like if they walk away from this, it's like step 1, 2, 3 amongst their busy life. How can they spread more awareness or be a part of this?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, definitely step 1 is awareness. Like you guys have said, it's like, you got to become aware. You got to face things, but you don't want to become paralyzed by the problem. So step 2, after you become aware, is, then do your research, find alternatives, like check out the alternatives, and then create, right? Create whatever alternative, share the awareness, create content or create conversations with people to share that awareness. I think that's probably the best step. Like, don't become paralyzed by the problem,
Yeah.
but you have to recognize the problem. Also, don't run away from the problem. I think sometimes like this world feels really heavy and there's a lot of dark stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And people want to run away from it or hide from it. And it's like,
you got to keep it fun and lighthearted. I don't know why this popped in my head, but you can keep it fun as simple as my wife's been making sourdough lately. And I was like, man, you should start creating some. I know, right? It's good stuff.
Yeah, we've been on the sourdough
But it's such
wave.
a good form. I mean, the prebiotics and the low glycemic index, it's phenomenal stuff. And you think of all the shit in our bread these days. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, man, if you created content, you like had the dog apart. Imagine if you got everyone to create their own sourdough and no one was buying bread anymore. How much better off society would be.
Yeah.
But that's from the point of like, instead of repel, like just find a way to spread the message in your own fun, creative way, leaning into your uniqueness.
Yeah.
My brain just fires like that. I feel like we all deserve to just have fun with what we know has a positive impact, but what we also enjoy.
Yeah. Amen, man. Amen. Yeah. The sourdough is interesting. There's a lot of schools. There's a lot of schools that are doing, they're like teaching the kids how to make sourdough and teaching them, like that's their first business. They're like selling sourdough for the first time.
That's really cool.
So are you having kids?
Yeah. We're just really enjoying this time with our dog.
She's like,
our kid
I
right
don't
now,
know
so-
yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
most likely
that's such a good,
when.
valuable skill though. And I feel, if you can bring skills like that to kids at a young age and they're like conscious creators, like back to that point, like you're creating something and you're not teaching kids to be victims. You're not teaching kids to just follow orders. You're like teaching them to actually create.
Yeah.
Just little things like sourdough, like honestly,
Yeah.
that could go a long ways.
Yeah,
man.
it just puts a
it's
smile on my
huge.
face. Those are the kind of things that you like. Those are creating core memories. What's
time.
crazy is you asked me 10 minutes ago about school. I don't have any core memories from school. I just don't.
When did you wake up? What would you say? Like, what was the
Honestly, it was
age or-
around COVID for me.
Really?
Like
Okay.
I was into fitness and I had started my business as a solopreneur, but COVID really helped me realize, holy cow, everything's an agenda. I've shared this a few times, but I am so gullible and naive, and I think the world is just a great place because I have a good heart and I believe everyone else has a good heart. I thought the college system and hospitals were just for the good of the people. I had no clue until literally 2020-ish. And I sound like a fool saying this, but I didn't even know they were businesses. I thought the school system was to educate people, and I thought hospitals were to heal people.
Yeah.
And I did not realize
Well, they're
that.
supposed to be.
Yeah,
You know,
supposed
it's like
Yeah, but
we're
I live-
living in this age where like everything that we were taught is, you know, normal is actually a lie.
Mm.
You know, and we're having to face it. That's the beauty of it. Like that's where I'm grateful. I think now is the best time to be alive because of that awakening.
I love that.
You know, COVID was a mass awakening. Like it really woke people up.
It really was in our lifetime. That will probably be the craziest thing to ever happen.
Maybe.
Hopefully. I
Hopefully.
mean, let's hope. But I think it woke a lot of people
Could
up
get crazier.
realizing how crazy the world is, all the agendas they had, how much money was being made.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it just showed a lot of people the true things happening in the world.
With education, actually, COVID was one of the big awakenings too, because of the pandemic, over 1.5 million families pulled their kids out of public schools. So it's the largest shift to homeschooling, and not even just homeschooling, but microschooling and just alternative education in history.
But they didn't plan for that.
No. And the NEA, it's the NEA's fault because they lobbied to keep the schools closed. And so what that did is it brought the school to the home. So all these parents started seeing what their kids are learning or lack thereof, right? Because most parents are like hustling. Most parents both working jobs. They don't have time to check in on what their kids learning at school. And so during COVID, because it was on Zoom, some of those parents were like, what are they teaching you?
Oh, dang. Yeah.
What are they saying? They're telling you you can do what with your gender? Like, what? They're talking about all these crazy things. So a lot of parents pulled their kids out. And they're like, nah, we're not doing that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's stuck. So it's been really cool. I mean, it's like, unfortunately, sometimes it takes these like really challenging, horrific events or like natural disasters or whatever it is for people to, you know, to wake up.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, clearly you probably think all kids should be homeschooled, right? Would you say?
I would say all kids should not be in a public school.
Okay.
Good way to put it.
I'd
agree with that.
I don't think anybody should send their kids to a public school. Nobody, not one single person. And there are some public schools in this country that are doing things better, right? But I have a high standard. I have not come across a public school where I'm like, yeah, I want to send my kids to that. I've come across some options that are like, all right, but nothing impressive.
Do you have like other options? So say how you're mentioning both parents work and sometimes they just can't make it happen. Are there like other options for people out there to put their kids in, other schools, online learning that you know of?
My mind goes to like private Montessori's.
Yeah, you have private schools, Montessori schools. Obviously, you got to have money for those. A lot of those are really expensive. There are 18 states in the U.S. that do something called ESA funds. So it's Educational Savings Account. So basically, think of it this way. Every kid is worth about $20,000 on average to the government from a schooling perspective. So if you go to the local public school, that public school gets $20,000 per year, right? So it's based on attendance. So this is why the teachers unions fought so hard against school of choice. Because if there's school of choice, then parents will pull their kids out of public school and that money that was going to the public school goes somewhere else. So they were fighting like hell to prevent that. But what school of choice does is it opens up different options. So parents can send their kids to a charter school, a private school,
sick.
a Christian school,
Yeah.
a micro school, a homeschool. And they can, in states that have ESA funds, they can access part of that money and they can use it for homeschooling. They can use it for microschooling. So most families don't really know about ESA funds. So definitely look it up if you live in one of those
That's
states.
sick.
More and more states year over year are adding ESA accounts. So I think if you can't afford a public school or a private school or a charter school, then I would look into microschooling. Because what you can do is you can get like, let's say 10 of your friends together that have kids, and you can basically pool a bunch of money together, hire a teacher, and maybe they can rotate houses. Microschooling is like collective homeschooling.
Dude, yeah.
So it's like, like 10 families, it's more controlled, it's more safe.
Yeah.
And so I would
That's amazing.
recommend that. I think I'm a big proponent of microschooling.
Okay.
We got to get you in touch with Jim Gale, who we just had on the podcast. If you haven't heard of Jim Gale, click somewhere on the page here. We'll show you his episode. But he has a school on his property, and he's really well connected within the state of Florida, Central Florida. And he's actually trying to band together the officials to get just 5% of the state funding and allocate it towards the schooling so that the kids can learn how to build food forests in their families' backyards. Profound
okay,
concept.
that's
to
epic.
grow your own organic farm in your backyard, make use of all that land where you're just cutting grass and stuff. And that concept in itself is like getting you out sunlight. That's like recess at its finest, but it also has a value to yourself, your family, and others. It's like amazing.
Yeah, man, there's a great restoration happening right now. And I pray that, we don't have to go into another revolution. I pray that it's just a restoration. I pray that we, as a nation, just get back to our original roots, like growing our own food, like if you look at the early, obviously it's imperfect, right? School likes to vilify, the early days of like colonial America. And yeah, there's some bad aspects to it, but there's some really good aspects to it, like the Commonwealth. That was what the colonies were made on. It was something called the Commonwealth. They shared their wealth, they shared their possessions, they shared their food. It wasn't forced, it was voluntary. So it wasn't communism, it wasn't, socialism. It was a conscious decision to share and like grow food, support each other like that. And I think we've kind of been like duped into thinking that we need the system to provide our existence and give us our, our food. And I just think that's what it's about, is getting back to that, our roots and restoring where we came from.
Yeah, man, it made me think of COVID when you just like lift the veil from over your eyes. You're just like, the amount of people that don't know, just dude, if you're gonna go to the grocery store at all, just like stick to the perimeter. All that stuff on the inside is completely man-made, manufactured, does not come from our earth.
Are you guys seeing more and more people waking up? It's true. What?
She's just making fun of me back there. She's my worst critic.
Yeah. Do we see more people waking up?
Yeah. Do you guys see? Are you guys coming across more and more people that are aware?
More people are aware, but there's still plenty of people that are just completely,
like they saw kind of what was going on, and they're just like, I'm gonna.
People are busy, man. They're busy
Yeah.
with their own BS. They're not looking at the big picture. They're just focused on these granular things that they think are most important in life, but it's really not. Like, even in business, we're involved in business. The amount of entrepreneurs and people that I used to look up to because they've achieved financial success and they've made it, they don't have a good relationship. They treat their wife like shit. They're not in great health. They don't know how to do anything other than work. They don't even know how to just chill out and like have a conversation with their family at the dinner table because all they know how to do is work. And I started to realize as you wake up and whatever it is, COVID, whatever your great awakening is, and you realize, I don't want that. They're forgetting the big picture. So it's like, cool, you're worth $100 million and you're great at business, but you've got like nothing else, or at least at best, everything else is just mediocre.
Yeah, that was a big shift for me because I was living in LA. I was around money. I was around status. I was around fame. I was around all of it. And, there was all these different opportunities that I had that I could have pursued that. I could have made a lot of money and had a lot of status and fame. And for me, I had the same realization. I was like, a lot of these people aren't really happy. It doesn't seem fulfilling, and I think as humans, we're craving some deeper meaning. And, so many people, like you said, are starving for that meaning.
Yeah.
They're just suppressing it and dulling it with, pleasure or,
wow,
food. You see like, porn, you see OnlyFans culture, all these things. Like it's just people numbing themselves to, something greater, something deeper.
Yeah. And I love that about social media, is that you can find your people, you can find your tribe. Like your mission, it's so cool. You get behind it. Like people can gravitate towards the people that really light them up and make them feel like more than just going through the cultural norm, and at least allow them to inspire you in some way. And there's a lot of ways to enjoy who you are. But like I think of my boy Andy Elliott, who we've worked close with the past 8 months. Like that guy can grind. And he is willing to do things that I'm just not willing to do. But there's multiple ways to be happy. He's happy doing what he's doing because he's adding value. He's making a massive impact, but he stays up super late. He gets up super early. His eyes are bloodshot. He loves what he does. And I love what I do, but I'm not willing to sacrifice my sleep and do what he does to do what I do. So there's multiple paths, and there's ways that like you find what lights you up and you gravitate towards those people that inspire you in those areas that make you a better person and can help you make your impact. But there's not one way. I think that's what you're saying is this system is like literally just numbing us and showing us this, like, it's just a good enough life to where you don't think to yourself like, well, why do they want me unhappy? But it's nothing great. It's like a level 5 out of 10. It's like just good enough to confuse the human mind to go along with it, but it's not bad enough to where you're like, fuck this, I'm not putting up with that. That sounds like the schooling system. Would I be right?
Yeah, and it's really every system like we're talking about. It's like the food system, it's the healthcare system, it's, you know, the housing system, it's all of it. But I believe it starts with education.
Yeah.
Like I start the film off with a quote from Aristotle. It says, "The fate of empires rests on the education of youth." And that always stood out to me because how we educate our kids is the fate of the empire, right? And, you know, you look at, we dumbed, you know, our generation, it was like we were just fed the textbooks and fed, you know, whatever they deem as like the history we need to learn, what the, you know, whatever they think we should eat, we ate it. And now we're waking up and now we're recognizing, you know, like I was just talking the other day about property taxes. Like here in Florida, Governor DeSantis just banned or they put it on the ballot to eliminate property taxes except for school taxes, because it doesn't make sense that you own a house, but you're paying monthly rent to the government.
Dude, it's possible.
That's proof that we've all accepted some insane bullshit.
100%. We're just accepting it.
Yeah.
Dude, once again, Jim Gale literally has a property in Central Florida. What is it? How many acres? 50,
He
500?
bought
I forget how much
50
it is.
acres of land. He owns.
Let's go.
He's
Maybe
got his
Zero
own
taxes.
private.
No taxes. It's
Yeah.
gated.
Yeah.
It's a community. The government is fully aware of who he is. He does not pay taxes on that property.
Let's go.
He says, come after me. I take care of my community. I do things that are great. He's like, if you come after me, I'm going to band together my people, and it's going to be worse for you than it is for me.
Yeah, I love to hear that. That's a cool thing about America. We got so many imperfections, but we also have badasses like that are just like, come find out, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, if you
Like,
look at
how is this, man?
if you look at like the origins of our country, it's pretty wild. Like, do you know, I mean, you guys studied like the Boston Tea Party, right? Like, do you know what tax percentage they were like pissed off about?
Mm-mm.
Do
It
you?
was very little, wasn't it? Like,
Just take a guess.
Oh, God.
no, it was like 1%.
It's like, yeah, it was like 3. I think it was like 3%.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Right. So now today we're paying what, 20% to the federal government, 15% depending on your tax bracket, maybe more. And then you pay state taxes, then you pay property taxes, then you pay sales tax, then you pay, it's like you're paying gas that you're paying taxes on everything, and we've just accepted it. So that, to your point, is it by design? Absolutely, it's by design. Absolutely, it's by design, because the system profits off of our ignorance. So when we wake people up, like if this podcast can wake up just one person, it did its job.
Absolutely.
Right? If it illuminates one mind, it did its job.
Yeah.
Because it's not about the fame, it's not about the views, it's not about all the money. It's about, you know, are you guys like, are we waking people up? Are we, you know, helping people like you said, zoom out and see the bigger picture?
Yeah. Are we making a change? Are we impacting? Is someone going to do something watching this, and you could change their whole life?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, as you know, being on podcasts and doing it yourself, if you can get your message across to just one person, you've done your job.
Yeah.
Yeah, this shit fires me up. We're just in a
Oh,
flow
dude,
state here. We're just vibing.
I'm stoked. I'm about to get back in that ice bath. No, I'm just not doing that.
No, you're definitely an expert at what you do, though. You could tell. I'm obsessed with anyone who's immersed in their craft, in their own world. They just become obsessed with one thing that adds value. I love that. I could sit and listen to something that I have no knowledge on. I haven't seen your film or anything, but like, I love everything I'm hearing.
Yeah, dude, it fires me up, man. It fires me up because I've learned, like, especially doing more humanitarian work, like going into disaster zones, going into conflict zones, like I've really learned that we are way more powerful than we think. Like when we actually just go show up, like go, even if it's just being present with someone, right? Giving someone a hug, just spreading a little bit of kindness, a little bit of joy. Like when we do those things, man, it makes a big impact. It can make a really big ripple, especially when you give without expectation of getting something in return. you know, to me, that's what life's all about.
Yeah.
Dude, we love
I
that.
reiterate that all the time. Yeah. Should never expect anything. If you're going to give out of the kindness of your heart without expectation, and you can never be disappointed either.
Yeah. And God will provide, man. You know, I think it was an illusion that we needed a big house. We needed a bunch of money. We need cars. And, you know, obviously we're in Miami. You see that plenty. Not saying those things are bad, but that's not it, right? We can't take that with us.
Yeah.
We can't take any of that
100%,
with
yeah.
us when we leave this earth. So the only thing we can do is, you know, make people's lives better, help people, help those who are less fortunate, help those people who are in need. That's what it's all about. So I get fired up about it. And I'm not a victim, you know, and that's what I hope other people gain, is to not be a victim, like actually be a conscious creator.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's tough to get out of your own way and do that sometimes.
Big time.
This thing right here.
Yeah.
The human mind.
Yeah, we're our biggest obstacle.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Absolutely.
Mind's crazy.
Do you have like a daily routine you follow? What helps you get in your most creative flow state?
For me, it's always like working out. I would say like that's how I start my day. I like to go out for a run, like to go for a workout, move my body, get out of my mind, get grounded, get in the sun.
Because you didn't get enough of it in school. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to catch up. So yeah, I like to start off there. And, you know, for me with editing, if I'm editing, I like to just, you know, lock in, focus, and definitely take solid breaks, eat lots of protein, you know,
Yeah.
get some creatine in there,
Yeah.
get
We
the
love to
brain
hear that.
dialed in.
What kind of exercising
all
do you do
about.
the most? Running?
Yeah, I do triathlons. So that's kind of like running, biking, swimming.
This is perfect for you.
Yeah.
Anti-inflammation to the max.
Yeah. It is.
Do you do a lot of resistance training or not as
Yeah.
much with it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Resistance training. I've like been doubling down on that a lot more lately, because for, you know, long distance training, you want to have more strength
Yeah.
training. Cause I mean, like those long bike rides or like those long races, like full Ironmans, like, yeah, you're losing some muscle because your body's like eating anything it can. So yeah, you got to have the strength training dialed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny because we were talking about that earlier, and
Ironmans.
yeah, we've talked about doing Ironmans in the past for fun. I've talked about making a YouTube video for fun of how far could you make it in an Ironman not training at all. And I'm not a good swimmer, so honestly, I don't know if I could even make it past the swimming part, but I think I could conquer the biking and the running, like just based off of the mental toughness. But I don't.
You guys, it sounds
the
like, I'm telling you, it
swimming would be
sounds like a
tougher.
good idea.
Oh, I
This
bet
is
it
one
would
of those
totally
things
mess
where
me up.
it'd be so stupid for our
no
bodies.
joke.
Yeah.
Like your body would be in such a state of shock that even if you did finish, you'd probably be messed up for the next
Yeah,
week at
serious
least
issue.
with your body trying to
No,
recover.
even on like full training, like when you get to that mile, like 56 on the bike, you're just like, dude, you're just suffering no matter what, no matter like how much you train, and you just got to push through it. Yeah, the bike is second.
Yeah, we did that. We signed up for a 100-mile bike ride one time and just went out twice and just did 20 miles.
Yeah, we
and
ripped
after
that.
we finished the 20 miles, we're like, dude, that was pretty easy. We totally could conquer the next 80. Like it's
Yeah,
not that big of a
But
deal.
to run a marathon beforehand.
And
Did you guys pull it off? Did you guys get 100?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did it.
Let's
and it
go.
wasn't
Okay, you guys are built different.
it wasn't terrible by any means. I mean, by the time we hit mile 85, you had some heavy legs to push through, but I mean, we finished, went out, had a good time. But I mean, it's different when you got to swim what,
Hey, you guys are champs.
3
All right.
miles before? Was it 3 miles you got to swim or 2
Two,
miles?
2.5, yeah.
2.5, and then you have to run what, a full
Marathon.
after,
Yeah.
which is what, 30?
Before, right?
No,
Before
it's
you
the
go.
112 miles on the
It's
bike.
the finish.
Yeah, and then you got to
The
finish
running's the
with the
very last
marathon.
leg,
Okay.
so
Oh, right.
which makes it the toughest. I mean, because your legs are already pretty heavy from the biking.
Sheesh, yeah,
You're
that's-
cooked.
That's gnarly.
So that's where it would kick in. It's like, okay, you'd get some heavy legs. That's a whole different thing because after doing the 100 miles on the bike, I don't know if I'd really want to go running the next however many miles to finish. But
Yeah, no, it's not ideal. But it's for me, I love Ironmans. I mean, like, there's no high, like there's no drug that can induce the same high that you get when you complete an Ironman. Like just the feeling of like just doing it. It doesn't matter what time you get.
What
It's
is
just
the average
feeling
time?
of doing
How
it.
long does it take to do a full Ironman?
I don't know what the average
Full
time
day
is.
thing, right? Is it like
For a full thing, probably like 13 hours
13 hours?
would be like
Wow.
average, maybe 12, 13 hours, maybe.
it starts pretty early in the morning, right? like
Yeah.
first thing, usually like 6 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
11 of them start, just because it takes so long to.
Yeah. Now I'm doing
complete.
half Ironmans because I like the more like kind of the sprinting and the speed of it. So I've been focused more
I feel
on
like I
half.
could do that, not really training as much, half the distance.
Yeah, you can make it.
but the full
You'll
one would
suffer.
be next level.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll suffer a bit, but suffering is good for you.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like a good physical and mental challenge? I feel like it just makes you that much better in life if you're willing to push yourself harder
Yeah.
than you thought you could.
Yeah, you either got to create some level of suffering or suffering's going to find you. There's no way to
that's
get around it.
It's either voluntary or involuntary. If you don't voluntarily suffer, you will suffer in ways you don't want to. So get your ass up and get in the cold plunge every day, because then the day will be like, hey, if I can start my day with this, nothing's going to stop me.
Yeah, y'all inspired me to fire up my cold tub again.
Dude.
Nice.
And those are the best times to do it. First thing in the morning when there's no one to impress. You're cold as heck already. You just got out of bed. It's like quiet. I mean, it is like a dark time, but you stand in front of that thing and you're like, I'm not going to not do it.
Right.
You contemplate it.
Once
know?
you make eye contact with your cold plunge, like
eye
seriously, it
contact.
looks you in the eye and you look it in the eye.
Yeah.
You're like,
It gets serious.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just
can't-
get in the back
I
of
can't
my
turn
mind just
back on you.
thinking David Goggins is watching me, just telling me I'm a little bitch. So
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
get in the
whatever it
cold tub.
takes,
I'm
man.
like, all right,
Exactly.
let's go.
Yeah, you start complaining a little bit. You're like, it's a little too chilly out, and then
Yeah.
David Goggins just appears like, I'm gonna quit being a pussy. And then
Exactly.
You're like, all right.
That's honestly what makes me get in. I just think of that as if he was there, because there's times when you don't want to. You're like, you know
that
what?
sucks.
No one's here. No one's gonna know that I skipped it. But I'm like, no, don't be a bitch.
No, David
Just
Goggins
get in
is
for
watching,
5
dude.
minutes, and you'll be good.
Yeah,
No big deal.
Goggins sees everything.
So what you do is no light topic. If you think about it, this is pretty dark stuff at times. So from creating the documentaries and engaging in these cultural conversations, has it changed your internal fulfillment for happiness and enjoyment in life? Some of the stuff you encounter is probably pretty depressing.
You know, I don't view it from a depressing lens because, again, like I said, I'm trying to view it from, spreading awareness. And I mean, for me, it's giving me more meaning. Like I have purpose. Like I have like a hill to climb. I have a hill to die on. And
Yeah.
I feel when you have purpose, you're always going to trigger people. Not everybody's going to agree with you. And for me, I've come to peace with that. Like I'm not trying to impress everyone. I'm not trying to really impress anyone. I'm just trying to, speak to what I believe the truth to be. And definitely like my belief in Jesus, my faith has definitely carried me and given me that strength to like pick up my cross and like not be afraid to carry myself with a purpose. Because there's a lot of years in my life that I didn't. There's a lot of years where I was kind of drifting. I didn't really have a purpose, and I was trying to please everyone. I was trying to be a people pleaser, and that just doesn't really lead you anywhere fulfilling or meaningful. It's not really interesting. So
That's the optimism in you right there. I love that. There's a reason you're here, man. I love that answer. 'Cause it makes me think of what I was a heavy supporter of Operation Underground Railroad for many years and human trafficking. And
they're
you're like,
great.
wow, it's such a great thing to bring to light, but it's also such a dark thing. And so you being a father now and having a relationship, I'm like, man, it's a pretty heavy topic. Not everyone could do what you do. Let's be real.
like I said, one of my favorite quotes is from Joseph Campbell. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek.
Can you say it again?
The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. So it's those dark places that we're like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to focus on that. It's actually where our treasure is to be found.
Yeah.
Like that is what our soul is seeking.
Yeah.
So
Like you
that's-
were saying, politics. I feel a lot of people don't want to enter. Is
Exactly.
that, but sometimes to find your answer, you have to enter that realm to find what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Is there a part of your story or documentary you were working on that just feels like it's unfinished still?
I feel good with it. I feel good where it's at. I think you always feel like you could do more, like that's the perfectionist in me. Like, I could add this, I could do this, but to me, the film has gotten to a point where it's being really well received. It's helping people. So I feel at peace with it. I'm like actually craving to make the next project and to, start making more films.
Hey, that's it.
Maybe I know you already told us the next one, but maybe the next one you'll educate people on the medical system.
I've had multiple people talk to me about that.
Yeah.
I've got several different ideas. There's one that kind of has the medical system involved, but
Colleges.
I get into colleges in this film.
Okay.
So that's in there.
I feel like there's a lot of things that could be their own film.
Yeah.
With like,
I want to make a lot of documentaries for sure.
Sick.
Yeah.
How do you go about the production side, just as content creators and having a business ourselves? How do you go about that? You hire a full team, or the documentary is no joke. It's not just a YouTube video.
Yeah, no, it's a big investment. You got to be willing to take years on it and have patience, and not be in the instant gratification of it. You got to just be patient and just kind of take it one step at a time. I mean, I learned a lot. Like this one took me 10 years, but the next one would probably take me like hopefully 3 years, 3 to 4 years.
that
But if it
normal?
takes me 10 years again, then yeah.
That's
I
normal
mean,
for
there's
a documentary,
documentary
multiple
filmmakers.
years.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's documentary. I mean, like Avatar, James Cameron had the idea
yeah.
for Avatar for I think decades. It's some of the best projects. They just take that long.
Yeah.
I'm not putting my film on the level of Avatar, but I'm just saying, I think it's okay if it takes a long time. Like Ken Burns, like he's just to make his like Revolutionary War documentary that he just put out, or the series. I think it took him like eight years or something like that on it. So
Yeah, I'm sure being your
It's common.
first one ever too, there was a huge learning curve to kind of figure
Big
out
time.
how to go about it to make it the most efficient.
big time.
I kind of look at it as a business. You start your first business, it may take you 10 years before it's successful, but you could use those same tools and experiences you've learned to probably start another business and make it successful in a fraction of the time.
Yeah.
Have you at least been to Pandora World of Avatar in Disney World?
What's that?
Have you been to Pandora World of Avatar in Disney World?
No.
Oh man, yeah.
Next
you like the
level?
Avatar films?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, they brought
How
that
can you
thing to
not?
life. Yeah, with the budget Disney has, they did a stellar job with it. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
Avatar, it's incredible, man. The human creativity, like what humans can come up with, it's pretty incredible.
Well said, yeah, because they've literally like built. You look at the rock sculpture standing underneath it, you're like, how in the F did they build this? And it doesn't come down. They-
I actually got to go to James Cameron's house while I was
Whoa.
making this film. So I got to interview his wife, Susie Cameron, because she is the head of one of the schools that I had featured in the doc. That they actually didn't make it into the final cut, but I got to go there. It was a really incredible experience. It was actually one of my like biggest lessons I learned from James Cameron, because, I had thought, I guess this goes back to like one of your questions about, how to make another film. I had thought, okay, you get to a certain point and you kind of outsource, you like hire people to go do the things. And one thing, I was like kind of asking their assistant, I was like, yo, where's James at? Like I didn't want to fanboy, but I was like, yeah, I kind of wanted to meet him. And so they're like, oh, he's in the studio. He's editing. They're working on the next film. And I was like, oh, they're like, he's editing like Avatar? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, he's like actually editing it himself? And they're like, yeah. Like, yeah, he edits himself. Like he's in the editing room.
Cool.
So James Cameron is not just like telling the editors what to do. He's editing Avatar. Like he's in the editing bay. And that blew my mind. Like that really humbled me. And I was like, oh, if I'm going to make a film, I have to be willing to go shoot it. I have to be willing to edit it. I have to, because it's my vision.
Yeah.
If I outsource that, and I learned that was one of the expensive lessons that I learned, is that the moment you try to outsource your vision, it's not going to be your vision.
Dude, we
So
just talked about that. Like we talked about that before, that nobody has the same vision of what you have, or no one can picture what you see and how you want it to look and what you want the final product to look like. So when you get something back, you're like, that's not what I was thinking. But then it takes you so much time to go back and try and have them correct everything, and you're better off sometimes just doing it yourself to look exactly how you pictured.
Yeah, exactly. And it's staying humble. It's not like thinking you're ever above something.
Yeah, it's humbling
I think
yourself.
that's what caught me, is like, I'm like, oh, I'm above doing that basic task. But it's like, no, these are the fundamentals. Imagine if, Steph Curry or Michael Jordan, they're like, I'm over, practicing my jump shot, or I'm, like one of my favorite NFL players is Amon-Ra St. Brown up at the Detroit Lions. And he catches 200 passes from the jugs machine every day. Like there's not one day that he doesn't do it. And I mean, this guy's a pro. He's been in the NFL now for multiple years. He's one of the best receivers in the league, and he still catches 200 balls on the jugs machine. So to me, that shows like the fundamentals. You just can't outgrow the fundamentals.
No, and that's why
You
a lot of
always got to
people-
be editing or shooting, like whatever you're doing, you got to keep those fundamentals going.
Yeah, and that's
For
how
sure.
I
Never
would
outgrow
say
'em.
you stay at the top of your game, right? Like look at Tom Brady, how many Super Bowls he won. A lot of people say, "Oh, it was luck. He had a good team. He had this. He had that." But that dude, you hear so many people say, is he showed up fierce every day. He was yelling at people. He was screaming. He was telling people how he wanted them to stand, where to exactly be, how far to go down, and there's a reason he won so much. And people became aggravated that he kept winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl. But it's because he had the system down. He'd practice harder than anyone else. He was a true leader, and he just made what he saw in his head happen and everyone else's.
I truly believe that one of the hardest elements of being an owner is to properly outsource. Because you can't lose sight of your vision. Like you always have to remain humble, right? But you also can't do it all. We all have
Correct,
24 hours in a day. And a good example I mentioned it earlier is Andy Elliott right now is building an empire fast. And he's managed to create a team that truly sees his business as their own. And I find that fascinating. And ever since I've met him, he's already gone from 80 to 150 employees, and they're all just like insatiably hungry about their mission at his company. And I'm like, that is a true leader to instill those values in every person that works underneath you as if it were their own. And that's something that I have a desire to adopt because we have an amazing mission. And what we have to give to the world is incredible. Like it totally takes their life from a 5 to a 10 instantly.
Yeah,
But
I've got a lot to
to
learn
carry
in that
that
area
out,
too.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you bring that, because you're just one person, even
Yeah.
this podcast, we had a producer from the get-go. We had the luxury of having someone facilitate all this, and it was wonderful. But we ran into a big hurdle. It was his schedule with our schedule with the guest schedule. It was a means to an end. It was never going to line up for all of us. So we had to ditch the producer and say, hey, we can put all this stuff together. You saw us set up the second scene and everything. Like, what's wrong with doing that? We don't need to stand back with our hands in the air while someone else puts it all together.
Yeah, well, I think the key is the general has to be like Napoleon Hill talks about that. The general has to be the best shot of anyone in the battalion, or the general has to be willing to. You can't send a soldier to do something that you yourself wouldn't do. Like that's what great leaders know.
Yeah, it's a
It's
simple way
not
to
that
put
they
it.
don't delegate.
Yeah,
tasks.
Not that they're not willing, maybe.
Right. They do delegate, but they're also willing to go do that thing.
Yeah.
Right. And that's important. Like for like some of the work we do overseas in Ukraine, like for me, I had to go to the front lines. I had to go to some of those places because I'm not going to send somebody. I'm not going to send, one of my friends, or I'm not going to tell somebody, hey, you have to go do this. You have to take food to this sketchy ass area where there's like bombs and drones and all this stuff if I'm not willing to do it.
Yeah.
And it really pushes you to the limits of like, okay, am I willing to, do this?
Yeah.
And yeah, you have to confront some fears. But if you're willing to, do something, then you can start to delegate and you can actually, build and scale based on that.
I think
Yeah.
that's the way
something
it
I've
should
learned.
be done, though, right? Like the best leaders are the ones that can do everything and teach people how to do it right. I mean, the example that comes to my mind is Chick-fil-A. How you can't just buy a franchise. The only way you can get one is working from the bottom and working your way up until they present you the opportunity to become a franchise owner after working your way up from the bottom and going to the top.
Oh, that's smart. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's their model. You can't just come in and anybody can just franchise or buy one. You literally have to work at a Chick-fil-A for X amount of years and work your way up to, I don't know if it's like franchise manager, and then they come in and if they're opening new locations, you can be an investor and own your own.
Okay. Big respect.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of cool. It's like, wow, you have to learn everything first before they just let you open one and think you know how to run it.
All right, I might go start working at Chick-fil-A then.
No, don't do that.
I think your mission's a little greater than
So,
I'll hold off on
like being a
Chick-fil-A.
high achiever in your field and doing what you do so well, what does winning look like for you now going forward?
Great question. To me, winning looks like how many people that are in need that I don't benefit from, that I can't gain anything from? How many people am I able to help? Like, that's what it looks like for me.
That's awesome.
How many people am I able to serve?
Wow.
Yeah.
And maybe not numbers, but like, am I able to help people make their lives better?
That's awesome. If your children, or say even grandchildren, were to watch this 20, 30 years down the road, what would you want them to learn from you?
I would say just not being afraid to try, not being able to, being afraid to fail, not being afraid to like look like a fool or, do things out of your comfort zone, like try things, try new things.
Yeah.
Like this was a first, doing a podcast from the cold plunge. That's a first. So try new things.
Yeah. Do the hard things, try new experiences, take the risk.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good thing.
Yeah.
I just
man.
like that question because it makes me think you have, a child and may have another one. So if they were to watch this, it's like, what would they take away from their dad?
Yeah, that's interesting. Hey, Kalani, if you're watching this, I love you.
Because you never know. Life's never promised. So what if they were to watch this? It's like, what message would you want to leave behind?
True.
What's your child's name?
Kalani.
Kalani.
Yeah. That's a great point, man. It's a great point. Yeah, it's I recently had a friend that just passed away. She was 33 years old, just got engaged. She found out she had colon cancer in September and just passed away a few days ago.
Sheesh.
And, you kind of see that stuff happening, I know like so many young people, it's like, you just think, man, like that could happen to me. That could happen to any of us. Like we have some control over it, but not ultimate control.
I mean,
that's a great question.
Yeah, that's spot on. I mean, I lost my stepdad to cancer, and that was a whole reason. I mean, not to get sidetracked here, but we started a whole non-for-profit called InstaWish. I mean, he lost his dad, she lost her dad. I lost my stepdad. My fiance, about to be wife, lost her dad. So we all kind of banded together and started a non-for-profit to help terminally ill parents go on one last trip, whatever they want to experience or do. We want to make sure that happens because there's so many people that when you're going through an illness, sickness, cancer, a lot of expenses, medical expenses that you can't afford to go do anything else, but you know your time's going to come. So when I watched even my stepdad pass away, I wasn't in a spot that I could financially afford to go take our family to do anything. And it's always a regret in the back of my mind I live with that I wish I could have done something, one last trip. And I think it just means a lot to us to be able to make a difference in that field or area of people that are suffering.
Amen, man. Amen.
So sorry that you lost your friend. I'm sure it's
likewise.
It's hard.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, we're all just carrying on, man. All carrying on the legacy of all the people that aren't here anymore. So it's a beautiful question, man.
Yeah. What to close things out here, what would be the biggest piece of life advice that you would give somebody that you have learned so far?
I'd say just patience. Being patient, not trying to rush. I feel, there's all this pull from society and from kind of instant gratification culture to move fast, compete, and there's a lot of beauty to those things. But don't compare yourself to other people's timelines. Like, it's totally okay if it takes you a lot longer to bring about your vision or your idea or your goals. Like, there's no rush. Just do what you can. Do the best you can with what you have, and then leave the rest up to God's timing.
I love that.
Because there's a lot of times where I thought, oh man, like it'd be so great for the film to launch now, and it just wasn't ready. It took the time it took for whatever reason.
That's awesome. And that's hard because a lot of people do. You compare how quick someone did something, or especially with social media nowadays.
Oh yeah.
You see someone that's half your age that so-and-so has accomplished so much, and you're like, dude, how come I haven't done that yet? Like, what am I doing wrong? What are they doing? And you just start comparing your life and your choices to someone else's, and you get in your own head.
Yeah. Yeah, God doesn't care about what's up here. God cares about what's in here. So life is eternal. Like, we're just experiencing a moment in the human experience. So God knows what's on our hearts. And like you said, social media, it's like quick, everybody's trying to go viral, trying to get views, but
instant
That
gratification.
doesn't matter. God doesn't care about that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you die and you're speaking to God, God's not gonna be like, how many views did you get on there? I don't know. You got to go back. That's
Yeah.
not
Funny way to
enough.
put it.
Yeah.
There's no
That is
view
not
count that's
happening.
gonna get you into heaven, man.
Yeah.
No, that's so true. I feel like some reason when I think of you go up to heaven, you get to heaven's gate. It's almost like Tinder. It's either you're getting swiped left or swiped right. It's like, are you allowed in or are you not allowed in, just based on all the life choices that you made?
Yeah.
And you always hope you're gonna get the in, but you never know unless you truly know down deep that you did right by people, you didn't screw people over, or just were a bad person in general.
Yeah, that's what matters. That's what matters. Yeah.
I love this. Well, I appreciate you coming on and coming out. It really means a lot.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks for
Yeah,
having
this
me,
is a
guys.
Great interview. You know, the best conversations are the ones when you get caught in a flow state, and we were there. Appreciate
Hey,
you, man. Thanks
great
for
to
coming
meet
on,
you guys.
Spencer.
Yeah.
Wishing you guys the best success, man. I love seeing people just go for it. So big ups to you guys.
Well, we're going for it.
and
we're getting
I'll be
it.
keeping you in my prayers. Keep
right.
crushing it.
We
Kudos.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if you enjoyed Spencer's episode, check us out here at Cult Up Talks. We've got more great episodes right here.